Another December job which we often forget to do, which doesn't take a great deal of time but just takes a little bit of thinking about, is to go and check the wire netting surrounds around some of our plants to see whether it's necessary for the rather unsightly and ugly wire netting surround to still be there, or whether it can be removed. And looking around this large new planting, you can see quite a lot of large wire netting surrounds and some larger things where the wire netting's been removed. As you can see, the magnolias here have wire netting surrounds which are about 4.5 or 5 feet, 4.5, 5 feet, and that's so that a roe deer can't actually reach in and get to them. The lower surrounds were put there in the days before we had roe deer and when we were only trying to keep rabbits out of the way. But today, even when we've got a decent mature magnolia like that, we still leave the wire netting surround, because in January and February, when the rabbits get little nutrition from the grass, they will come and gnaw at a magnolia trunk and make a nasty mess and possibly kill or certainly damage the tree. So with magnolias, however unsightly it may look, we tend to leave the wire netting surround there for a bit. And certainly on smaller young trees, it's essential that the surrounds stay. But when we come to a tree like this, which is an Acer species, Acer macrophyllum, actually I think the likelihood of a rabbit nibbling this stem is pretty small. And unlike that magnolia over there, where a little bit of a wire netting is probably a good thing, here I don't think we need this wire netting surround anymore. So before we actually manage to lose the label, let's detach the label from the wire netting surround and reattach it onto the tree itself. I'm using very fine wire which twists in onto itself really quite easily. And isn't too much of a problem. And then we can simply remove the old wooden posts, which are, as you can see, rotted off anyway. We've got a bit of a problem because this wire netting surround is no longer going to fit over the tree, so we need to find where it was joined and clipped together originally and gently unclip it. It's fiddly, but I don't particularly want to cut the wire because we can use this again. This wire netting has been around this plant for about 10 or 12 years. The wire netting hasn't rusted at all and is still in perfectly good nick. And when we finally get it disentangled, we can certainly reuse it on another young plant next spring. There we go. So we can lie the wire netting down flat again and reuse that next spring to re-surround another tree, and we've got something now that doesn't look as unsightly as it did before.